Welcome everybody to round number 2 of the 2018 Racetech Nationals and MX Simulator Pro Series on MXSDMF.com. My name is Kellen Brower, and we are live here from Glen Helen. 450 consolation races on the track for round number 2. And I'm joined by the one, the only Chris Riesenberg, who I think has just finished typing a novel. What's up, Chris?
It wasn't a novel, but I'm flashing back to like 2012 here, watching this LCQ. Tyson Fresquez, Sabrina Ritzler, and James Armstrong going 1, 2, 3. It's like a main event from back in the day. This is an LCQ just to make the motos, though. These three all, I would assume, should be in the motos anyways.
Yep.
But maybe some issues not having time to qualify, something like that. But I'm excited to get some 450 action going up and down these hills at Glen Helen.
Right, and something has been weird about Tyson Fresquez all year. It's like maybe he was the guy asking a question about dial-up or something with 30 FPS over here. I mean, he's been running the default 2 gear all year long and hasn't had any of his skins being used, even though the Team Volcom guys have posted their skins. So maybe he had to buy like a Windows 95 computer or something. He's out here just trying to survive with them.
I know. The last I talked to him, said he was seriously lacking motivation. He wanted to be motivated to race in the series, but definitely was lacking as, holy cow, we have a battle going on right now for this last transfer.
Oh, man!
To take Charles Gable and Brandon Hedge with her. So now, Fresquez, Armstrong, Monty Wilson, and Caden Speck have the spots. Ethan Triptez Parks trying to get up in the mix. As he gets cross-jump, Carl somehow saves it.
So these guys, they will go 4 laps, and the top 4 will qualify themselves into the motos, which will be coming up in about 6-7 minutes. So
the top 36 qualifiers are already qualified in on times. Our fast qualifier was Alexis Leclerc, Russ Chapman, Jeremy Seabolt right there. Nice times from Shipley, Holm, Heberlein, Blakely, Race Carlin, and Kevin Ferzaka, as well as Logan Leitzel, rounding out your top 10 qualifiers in that 450 Pro division. So those guys, along with the rest of the top 36, already seated in. These guys trying to get those last spots. James Armstrong and Tyson Fresquez, former teammates, going up the hill. Bike humping is James Armstrong, saying what's up as he rolls by his former teammate Fresquez.
Yeah, I would equate the PC issues or whatever the heck's going on with Fresquez this year and him not playing the game as much to exactly like someone said in chat. It's like him just coming straight off the couch, a little Chad Reed-esque, just throwing it all together. And
I was going to compare it to, since he's the winningest rider in MX Simulator, I was going to compare it to when Jeremy McGrath went to KTM.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Subpar equipment, just not getting it done.
So
of course, that was old school KTM.
So what do you think? We got maybe Fresquez coming back with like Evergood next year, and he's going to finish top 4 behind like some Richard Charmander and like Jamie Stewart and all these weird people, or what?
Jimmy Stumpert?
Jimmy Stumpert?
He's my favorite driver of all time. He ramped that off-road moped over all them dirt hills. He was done able to get her done out there. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Somehow, some way, Robert Wilson's moved his way all the way up to 2nd around Fresquez. Ethan Parks is up to 4th. Jeff Cooper, Logan Heagney are on the outside looking in. Tyler Fry, Sabrina Ritzler not in.
And Jeff Cooper looking like straight up AJ Catanzaro back here. I feel like this whole setup looks very AJ Catanzaro-ish.
Absolutely. I actually dig that gear. AJ, of course, 95 of last year, number 80 this year, but so wrapping it. The cat.
Logan Heagney, Charles Gable.
Oh, Fresquez just went down. Is that going to cost him a transfer spot? It is. Jeff Cooper going to go on into the transfer. Here comes Heags. Logan Heagney as well. Taking the smooth line down the sand.
Heagney trying to get up from a crash, loses a few more positions.
So can Fresquez lay down one of his patented heaters here on the last lap to try to get up into the top 4? Or is it going to be Jeff Cooper? It's going to go on into the show.
Yeah, Tyson Fresquez, winningest Supercross rider of all time, 4-time Moto Option Supercross champion, actually won the Racetech National Motocross Series back in 2012. But as he is now on the ground at the bottom of the hill, it looks like we will not see him tonight, and there is no such thing as a Champions Provisional in MX Simulator professional competition. Ethan Parks going bar to bar with Robert Wilson. Everybody jumping into those hay bales on the outside on these 450s is a little bit more power. Armstrong throwing Oppo. And Cooper actually catching our riders in second and third at the moment. Nothing really doing any crazy transfer battles or anything like that going on right now. Charles Gable would be the next closest rider, but he's not really there yet. Tyler Fry, as a white flag comes out. Armstrong takes it. And these guys are about 8-9 seconds back of your transfer spot, so they need something to happen to Jeff Cooper, Robert Wilson, or Ethan Parks to make this thing a little bit more interesting.
Not a lot of action here.
No, not really. It's pretty steady, kind of, stabled itself out a little bit.
I mean, the battle for second is pretty sweet between Ethan Parks and Robert Wilson, but it doesn't really mean much.
Although if they do get together and take each other out, that could open the door perhaps for Gable to get there.
There it goes.
Parks
Wilson
down.
hit the SpongeBob and Parks hit him, and, well, that allows Jeff Cooper all the way up to the second spot. Now makes things slightly more interesting as Charles Gable is just sending it here. It's last lap for him, so it's either make or break now. He's going to go down this downhill pretty much wick and crash because of it.
Wait a minute, we're at Glen Helen. We're not at the Wick.
I said wicked.
I said. Tyler Fry moves to fifth. Ethan Parks is absolutely cartwheeling all the way down Mount St. Helens. Is he going to get up in time? It is going to be close. Tyler Fry.
Here comes T-Fry.
Not going to get there. But he's definitely on him now. Whoa, Ethan Parks. Whoa, sending a double fold. Here's Tyler Fry looking inside. Woo. Almost took his opportunity there. Oh, man.
Almost throws it away.
Ethan Parks just about threw that one on the deck. All right, it's really going to be between these two. They are a little bit too far back at Jeff Cooper. Actually, Charles Gable is still right there. It is not over for Gable either if these two get together. Oh, Parks a big kick coming into
180, you got to go for it, I think, if you're Tyler Fry. You send it down the inside no matter what.
Oh,
nope,
well.
He's not gonna. He's
and he's going to blow the rut,
too.
yeah. Race winner. Robert Wilson, Armstrong goes through, and yeah, Ethan Parks is going to the motos. Tyler Fry misses out. So does Charles Gable. We can wait for cuts, but I don't think that'll change it. Sabrina Ritzler actually almost jumped all the way to the line. Chris Channing. Thomas Wilcox, not a very good ride in his debut ride for DX3. He comes across the line ninth.
Team manager Devin Davis probably a little bummed. I bet he had some high expectations for Wilcox.
Yeah.
He's been super fast previously and whatnot, but
Kyler Hockey, Noah Baker, Jeremy Gwiazdowski, and
maybe Tyson will at least do a big whip for us or something cool.
Come on, Tyson, something cool.
A little turn down scrub. I mean,
Yeah.
There's Johan Mayer, Mr. MXSCMF.com himself.
A-Wood.
Hometown race for A-Wood. Hopefully he's going to go big on the downhill.
Backflip.
He's going big.
For style. Got it.
Flat
Oh.
lands and broke his already broken back. Andrew Wood down hard. Boom, boom, boom.
Logan Heagney with the boner air Leclerc, but he's going down as well.
All right, let's see these guys cross the finish line jump. Oh, wait, looks like somebody is getting a massive run. Oh, they're in warm-up. Or, I mean, they already finished. So let's watch Andrew Wood come across the finish. He is down, and here comes Higgs, the 130 Trans Moto rider. Face plant.
Cuts are in. Top 4 stays the same. Actually, Armstrong
on the last lap, there's more knockoffs on that finish face than China.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, 450 Moto's coming up here in just a second. I guess I will take you guys around this track just a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to actually loop out first.
His name's Larry. Larry Loop.
All this 450 power. Hey, is anybody gonna be at Glen Helen this weekend? Chris, I don't think you will be, but anybody in chat?
I have a Supercross only contract. I go to one outdoor a year.
Millville? I'll be at Glen Helen this weekend, though, so if you see me walking around with a entourage of sim players and a guy with a nice Statue of Liberty sleeve tattoo, that would be my posse of people. I didn't really like this iteration of Glen Helen, where it doesn't go all the way to the top of Mount St. Helens, and I don't know. It seemed
this is a little
bland.
weird. That corner is really fun at the top. We did it. I don't know if you got a chance to get into any of the road test races, but they were super fun. It actually made a really nice rut at the top, but it was really one-lined corner, but it was super fun. But it actually opens up that second downhill so much to be able to use both sides, because you're not coming at that weird angle.
Oops.
My favorite part of the track is definitely the hip table. Step up thingy, whatever it is.
The hip table is fun. If I could throw Oppo whips, I would throw an Oppo whip for you people, but instead I'll just try to throw a huge, like, turn-down scrub whip. It wasn't that huge, and I OJ'd it, so, you know, whatever, I still suck.
Is average, kind of like my tracks in your stream.
Average. Man, I have no talent left in this game, Chris. How do I request an amateur license?
I feel like you just need to tell Johan you need one because you're Kellen.
Yeah, but then he'll say, oh, well, you were a pro, and I do still have a national number, so...
Yeah, I feel like you would A, dominate, and B, have no fun in amateurs. Because if you weren't dominating, you'd just be getting plowed into all the time, because that's really what amateurs is.
That's true. I need to figure out how to race these 125 races.
That's what you need to get in on. That was really, really fun. I did the EU one this week. I didn't get in on the NA one, but I did get in on the EU one, and it was super fun.
NA one
and I didn't even do good.
NA one is on Sunday with the AMs,
Sunday
right?
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday night.
Cool. All right.
It's actually prior to the AM racing, so it's pretty early.
If my bachelor party wasn't this weekend, I would maybe think about it.
All right, it's time for the versuspc.com one to watch. And I need to look at qualifying times real quickly before I picked this because, well, I want to pick someone that's actually going to do well. You know what? See, I have a buddy. He's known to beta test my tracks. Complains a lot, but that makes him a good beta tester.
Eli Block?
He lags like a mother. Talks a lot of crap, but usually does good in Supercross and not outdoors. That would be the number 74 of Craig Richards. 11th position right now on the starting gate. So we'll check out Craig Richards as our versuspc.com one to watch.
The cold, refreshing taste of water in a beer can.
Water in a beer can. Does that mean just a really watered down beer, or did you fill a beer can with water?
Nope, watered down beer.
What are we drinking tonight, Kellen?
We got some CL Smooths.
Ooh. Lock and load with some silver bullets.
Oh, you know it. The mountains are blue.
I'm still detoxing from Vegas, if you were wondering.
I figured. Oh, come on. You didn't go to... Where did they go? Zimbabwe? With Gilmore?
Africa?
Flying an F-16?
No, he literally was home for about 12 hours between Vegas and that trip, and I have no idea. I guess the international trip was just a good time to sleep.
Man, these 450s are taking 1,000 hours to load in for me. I still haven't loaded in
We're
yet.
loading the Moto now.
Good to know, because I'm still not loaded in yet. So
don't worry, I got you. I'm going to call all the action right here, right now. Can anyone stop Alexis Leclerc? Is going to be the question, in my opinion.
There we go. Go, 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 go. Have they started? Yes, they have. And in turn one, it is almost Grant Harlan. Instead, Adam Holm with the first hole shot of the year for the 450s. Right ahead of Chocolate Leclerc. Dominic Tiberino's right there. Let's see, the 19 of Seabolt. 54, Reed Young. And Holm gets pushed off the track, or pushed wide, I should say, as Leclerc goes to the lead. So everybody's sorting themselves out. We got Russ Chapman right up here, Luke Heberlein, who we haven't seen forever, Kevin Verzaka, Peter Like, Reed Young, Daniel Batchett, Brock Pearson, William St. Laurent, Grant Harlan, Ash Deering, Joseph Pilsner, Jeff Cooper, Jeremy Cohenauer, Robert Wilson, Eduardo Simos, Logan Leitzel. Everybody trying to chase Leclerc. Leclerc coming off of his first ever Moto Option Supercross Championship this year. He was your 2014 Racetech National Champion. And obviously the biggest news for this outdoor campaign and its effect on the series moving forward is three-time defending champion Jesse Mullins will not be with us basically for the rest of his career as he was permanently banned by MXS EMF and Race Factory Gaming as a conglomerate decision, and he was caught booting. So essentially DDoSing using a booter to several competitors, and that is a massive no-no. Not only highly illegal in several countries, but also a permanently bannable offense for MX Simulator competition. So Mullins will not be here in the outdoors. It is going to be a new champion this year. No Zach Dupuis, Tyson Fresquez doesn't make the motos, so literally there is no defending or previous 450 motocross champion on the gate this year in the Nationals, which is insane. So it's Leclerc leading Seabolt, Holm, Chapman, and Heberlein as we have another Honda Nationals going on. Verzaka finally breaks up that streak. Peter Like, Reed Young. Dominic Tiberino and Billy Kunitz. Logan Leitzel running the number 1 bike, which is either Hunter Roots or for some reason Tyson Fresquez's Team Volcom bike. Maybe Fresquez's Supercross bike. Question in chat is, what is DDoSing? It's essentially using a booter or a third-party internet crashing system to kind of hack into someone's internet connection and cause massive lag issues. So it basically turns their internet off, and a couple riders had that happen It wasn't confirmed that Mullins did it, but the most notable rider that it happened to was Alexis Leclerc, was DDoSed at the Foxborough Supercross earlier this year. Missed UID grab. He was able to still get into the races, but still missed the main event, not making it through the heat race with the LCQ, and it was pretty well known that the DDoS issue caused the biggest problems for him. So Leclerc out front and leading this thing comfortably at the moment. Jeremy Seebold is trying to hang tight and put some pressure on him. Of course, Leclerc's biggest competition indoors this year was Colton Mitchell, and Mitchell, as we saw earlier on this evening, is set to defend his title in the outdoor campaign, so we won't see Mitchell on a 450 outdoors up against Leclerc. So it's kind of down to Seebold, maybe down to Chapman as well. These three guys at the front of the field are probably expected to be your top 450 guys this year. Yeah, DDoSing is not a good thing, so obviously Mullins, I think, is going to have to learn his lesson the hard way, but there's been people that have been caught DDoSing before by the government and have been subject to several years in federal prison. It's nothing to joke around about. Battle for the lead still kind of hanging tight. Not a real lot going on, but here we go. Leclerc a mistake, and here comes Seebold. Seebold looking for a way around on the number 7 machine. Interesting to see. We saw in the 250 race, as the track eroded a little bit more as the race went on, that guys were having issues with the bumpiness of the track and how it developed. I'm curious to see if that's going to be the same case with these guys. We're going to see some higher speeds from some guys early in the race, and as the track digs out, it's going to get worse and worse. Honestly, as much as Leclerc and Seebold are going at it, it looks like Chapman actually is the one that's closing the most on them. Yeah, Chapman definitely looks like he's closing in. 2:17.2, 2:18.8, and 2:19.9. So definitely Chapman is the one that is turning the fast laps on the track at the moment, trying to get to our race leaders. So here's a perspective from Chapman's third place position. Our top three are absolutely breaking away from the field. You can see the track map on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. They're almost 2 whole straightaways ahead of the rest of the field. We're not even yet past 7 minutes into this thing yet. And Jeremy Seebold has given Leclerc everything he can handle for the race lead at the moment. Bottom of Mount St. Helens, off Camber Corner as they work their way back up the hill. A couple of guys with some different riding styles, that's for sure. Leclerc's definitely loosened up over the years, but he used to be very kind of stiff on the bike. Didn't do a whole lot of moving around, let the suspension and everything do the work. Now he's a little bit more free-flowing, but still Seebold kind of the aggressor as he slides it down. That's going to allow Chapman through, and Chapman, as we already mentioned, is the fastest rider on the racetrack. So maybe he is going to close up on Leclerc at the moment. It's interesting to note, too, with these 450 guys, the way that their lines have been developing. We're seeing that inside line before the hip jump becoming more and more possible. Really more or less down to the power these bikes are able to put out for these guys. A lot more low-end torque available. Obviously higher speeds, more horsepower. Chapman trying to close on Leclerc. Seabolt is continuing to struggle. Completely stuck in the second to the last corner. Luke Heberlein and Adam Holmes still right there. Like I said, it's a Honda freight train at the front. Tiberino, Reed Young, Logan Leitzel, Kevin Ferzaka. How about Dago Adamo, the rider from Argentina, making his return to racing? No Supercross action for him this year, but good to see the number 63 Power Dream machine back out here. William St. Laurent, the Canadian rider, tailing him. Peter Leicht, also from Canada. Billy Kunitz and Jeremy Shipley battling right behind them. Joseph Pilsner holding off Daniel Mills at the moment. And we got Batchlet and Race Carlin, who is not in a position he was hoping to be in. Carlin, a former national motocross winner, as is Armstrong. Then we got Ethan Parks, Craig Richards, Brock Pearson, Chase Blakely, Spencer Turley, Alex Cunningham, Dylan Copeland, Grant Harlan with Devin Davis coming side by side. So we got actually quite a few guys back there. There's dualies and they touched heads. Nice pass for Davis. Roy Mitchell, Eduardo Simos, Fernando Andrade, Owen Hillman, Connor Holiak, Jake Fisher, Cameron Lee, Ash Deering, Jeremy Cohenauer throwing naughty right next to Robert Wilson, and then Jeff Cooper appears to be bringing up the rear. Nope, that's Andrew Mastart, who has already called it an evening. So that just goes to show you, like, all these battles going on behind your front three as Chapman has taken over the lead, so we missed some action. Leclerc and Chapman must have got together, no idea where, but clearly Chapman has a big lead now. Actually, you guys are mentioning Roost. I actually want to use Roost, but last time I checked, they don't have Roost outdoors. Let's see if they have it now. Yeah, they still don't have it. And it looks like it's even kind of affecting frames just a tiny bit. So I'll turn it back off. Seabolt keeping an eye on Leclerc. Holmes moved up to fourth. Heberlein is down corner after the finish line, so that is going to be Logan Leitzel going on through for Architect. Then we got Heberlein, Ferzaka, Reed Young still running strong. Let's see if we can't find ourselves a battle. We got Dominic Tiberino and St. Laurent are pretty close. Shipley has Kunitz right behind him. Ooh, rider down, that's Shipley. Shipley down on the exit of the sand corner there. Lots of riders squeaking through now. Ferzaka down, not gonna lose a spot necessarily, but lost some time. Leclerc back to third, so Seabolt has gone through, and Adam Holm is now right behind Leclerc, so maybe some issues Leclerc's running into early on in this moto. It's the first time we've really seen the 450 guys get after it outdoors. We saw a little preliminary action with the 250 guys running the first moto at Hangtown before the whole event was postponed due to some server issues. Never saw the 450 guys, so we have no idea where everybody is. Obviously, Leclerc, having won the Supercross title, would have been carrying the most momentum, but he He also might not have been as active with the outdoor testing that was going on. There was some road races and stuff like that that were going towards the end of Supercross there. Not to say that his setup is off necessarily, but he might not be completely up to speed with the road settings and how things are working for these outdoor events just yet. Again, I missed exactly what happened, but he's clearly had a couple crashes here early. So Holm really trying to close it down on Leclerc right now. He's got his sights set on him, and he wants to go get him. There's your race leader Chapman going up the uphill. There's Siebold in second. Leclerc's going to go by right there in third, and there is Holm right behind him. Ooh, Leclerc got a bad kick. Now Holm's going to really close it down here at the top of the hill, right on the number 7 machine. Different lines developing as well. We saw that in the 250 class. That inside became really good towards the middle part of the moto, which is where we are right now. We actually just passed the halfway point. And then the outside eventually kind of caught back up. The road digging out those lines too deep, changing the scaping of the track. Everybody going inside here so far. Nobody's really used that outside, as opposed to in the 250 class. We saw a lot of that outside being used. So Holm in a battle with Leclerc for third, keeping an eye on him, but just can't quite get enough to him yet to maybe make a pass or at least show him a wheel to push Leclerc over his limits. If Leclerc even has limits. I mean, the guy is pretty unreal sometimes. But we have seen before that you can maybe pressure him into a mistake or two. Holm a little out of sorts there after the finish line jump, missed the inside rut and cost himself some time. Leitzel all alone in 5th ahead of Luke Heberlein. Here's Kevin Frazaka, who had an abysmal Supercross season, made 2 main events, I believe, but other than that, just could not seem to get to grips with the Supercross road settings. Right now, he is running in 7th spot, though, and looking awfully comfortable doing so. Billy Kunitz is also having a great ride. A lot of guys up here that guess you don't normally see comparatively to some other guys that are buried. Reed Young is having a good moto, Dominic Tiberino, and then Chase Blakely, who won 2 outdoor races last year, coming through the field. He sent me his skins about 3 seconds before I started the broadcast, so couldn't quite get them tonight. Daniel Mills and Race Carlin, Ethan Parks, Dago Adamo's in 15th. Pearson is in 16th. Here's Spencer Turley and Craig Richards, 17th and 18th. 19th for Cameron Lee, 20th for Peter Leicht. Then Armstrong is right there, so a couple Canadians fighting for the last points-paying position at the moment. And another Canadian in William St. Laurent right behind him. American, Roy Mitchell, though he used to live in South Korea, outside of the points right now. Roy Mitchell did race for the United States. Whoa, we got a bunch of riders down, and Mitchell's going to go actually into the points. Goes ahead of Dago Adamo for the time being. But Mitchell raced for the United States at the MX Simulator of Nations back in 2012. He went 1-4. It was really kind of the saving grace of that team. No thanks to myself being an abysmal 250 rider for that team. Richards and Like battling amongst each other. kind of bringing Mitchell with them. This is a good battle right here. These guys really just fighting for the nitty-gritty at the moment because there's not many points on the table for what they're running for as Richards tries to squeak down the inside of Like, and Like goes down, and Richards is going to get the spot, but Mitchell around the outside has a great drive. Not quite able to get there. Doggo Damo still lurking there in the background. Switch up of lines. Richards goes outside. Mitchell's going to try inside. They're going to come out side by side. And Mitchell closes the door, but then gets the Aussie lag punt from Richards. So a clean pass gets absolutely destroyed by the Australian lag. And Mitchell has to go back to work. Fortunately, didn't fall off the bike. Cameron Lee and Spencer Turley battling it out. Turley on the 61, Lee on the 43. Battle for 16th on your screen. Turley trying to get to the inside, had to double the triple into the corner, and Cameron Lee took advantage of that. Triple to the outside, swung wide, and made the pass happen. He's going to go after Brock Pearson. We got a rider down in the sand. That was Dominic Tiberino. He's going to slip back to 14th, so Parks goes through to 13th. Carlin matches his number in 12th. Reed Young is 11th. Mills 10th. Blakely now 9th. Kunitz is down, as is Robert Wilson, but that's a lapped rider, so Kunitz trying to get going ahead of a group of guys. Looks like he did hold on to a top 10 spot. That moves Blakely to 8th, Heberlein 7th, Verzaka 6th, Leitzel 5th, Holmes still 4th. Looks like he lost touch with Leclerc. Leclerc is still 3rd. And then we actually have a bit of a closing down going on for the lead as Russ Chapman continues to lead 21 minutes into this thing. 2:21.8 last time by, so not the cleanest of laps comparatively to Seabolt, who I guess did a 2:21 flat, but I'd imagine before that there was some sort of advantage gain because Seabolt went from pretty far back to now just 3 seconds back. I'd imagine that had to do something to do with maybe a Chapman fall-off crash somewhere that we missed. Rider down. That was a lapped rider though. So our two leaders are gone. Adam Holmes moved into 3rd, so Leclerc had an issue somewhere on the track. Not too sure exactly where that was. As Devin Davis is going to go down while he was being lapped by Leclerc. Rough night thus far for the number 15 DX3 rider. Actually, Holm not quite out of the woods just yet. Here comes Leclerc. There's some riders conflagrating ahead of him. Eduardo Simos is one of them. Another rider couldn't quite catch the number. It looked like maybe the 266. But Leclerc is a closing. That is the 266, and Leclerc gets through. I should know that number, because I called his name earlier, but I don't. Number 80 is Eduardo Simos, though. And Holm pulls alongside him. He's going to try to get through. Simos checks up and goes actually off the right-hand side of the track, so Holm had to cross over. Leclerc definitely closing it up now. So Simos, and then Alex Cunningham is a 266. My apologies, Alex. Oh, Holmes down into the SpongeBob's, and Leclerc trying to avoid him goes down. Simos does a little pirouette. So Holm going to get up and have to ride around the SpongeBob, but Leclerc not having to ride around the SpongeBob is going to get the spot. So I guess that's one way to make a pass. Logan Leitzel's not too far behind these guys, although he almost made a huge mistake and almost went down. Our two leaders are so close. ART Racecraft decals 1-2 at the moment, but not close enough just yet to really formulate a good battle for us. Seabolt's been kind of steadily closing this gap. 2:23.3, although Chapman 2:21.7 last time by. It looks like maybe some lappers maybe did some damage for Chapman's lead last time by. Oh, Seabolt tried to kind of pre-hop that thing, maybe scrub it a little bit too hard and almost went down. Another rider down there off to the right-hand side of the track. Seabolt through the hay bales. Yeah, MX Shippy 50, it is not meant to be based off of this year's Glen Helen. It is a replica of last year's Glen Helen. Here is Seabolt and Chapman. Battle for the lead on your screen, 25 minutes into it. And Chapman has now been caught, so Seabolt coming from a ways back, and he had to get around Leclerc first. Has now caught his teammate, and the 29 and the 19. Between the two of them, they have won the last 3 250 West Supercross championships. Oh, Seabolt goes down. Not sure. Looks like he maybe made a mistake at the end of the sand and tried to hop back in the rut. So that opens up the gap once more, that we almost had a good battle going. Leclerc has gotten back around Adam Holm. Oh no, we saw that actually happen. I apologize. So Holm's trying to go back after Leclerc. Yeah, Leitzel's just been riding all alone. Same for Zaka. Blakely's had a really good ride through the field. When I first saw him, I think he was outside of the top 20. He's now made his way up to 7th. So really good for the number 13 machine here. Luke Heverline in his return to racing must be trying to get that necessary 25 points to hold on to his number 28 career number. Good to see him back nonetheless. Daniel Mills. And Race Carlin was down, so Kunitz is going to go through on him. That's going to set up a good battle for us here. I think this is for 11th. Kunitz almost notching into that jump just a little bit. Kunitz stood up on the outside of the rut. Here comes Carlin. Contact, and Carlin goes down. Kind of incidental there. I'm not sure if that was a bit of lag issues or what, but it seemed like Carlin got a little bit more than he bargained for, that's for sure. Thought a rider just went through. Must have been a lapper. "28 minutes in now. So 2 minutes and 2 laps to go. Pearson and Cameron Lee battling it out. This is for 12th. So Lee's kind of steadily progressed his way forward. I guess Pearson has as well. They're kind of both going together. They were about 17th and 18th at one point. Now 12th and 13th. Oh, inside for Lee. Gets him in Talladega. There was a rider down on the inside, but I don't think that's why Pearson missed the rut. Then Reed Young, William St. Laurent. Little mix-up of riders here as Seabolt is lapping Dago Adamo and Ethan Parks, which means Chapman would have already lapped both of them. So he is somewhere in between St. Laurent and Cameron Lee. Oh, and now he's going to be ahead of Cameron Lee, who just faced it into the ground. So you'll see Chapman right here going by Cameron Lee. Your race leader cruising out front right now. No pressure. And once again, Adam Holm has gotten back around Leclerc, so not too sure what happened to Leclerc. Maybe a crash somewhere, given the distance between the two now. It actually allows Leitzel to get within reasonable striking distance. I think there'd be have to be a fall-off crash from Leclerc, but clearly maybe some issues for Leclerc as he's trying to weave through some of his lap traffic ahead of him. Gets a little swap down the hill, but able to corral it together. Oh, Leclerc, whew, had a huge kick almost up and over the bars. Watching your rider in fourth here. Oh, Leitzel into a downed lapper. That's Eduardo Simos on the deck. That's going to spell the end of his attempt to get Leclerc. Chase Blakely lapping a few guys there. Verzaka slides out, and did he lose a spot? Nope. That's his teammate, though. So Verzaka's put on a good ride, but he did lose a spot late here to Blakely. Daniel Mills also having a nice ride. Now has gotten around Luke Heberlein. So this has been a pretty steady ride for Mills to get into 8th at this point. Hopping his way through the ruts and the rough. Devin Davis down again. This has been a disaster race for Davis. Here's Heberlein. Got a great drive through the inside rut at the bottom of the hill and pulled up almost alongside Mills. Now he's looking around the outside, this back section in the canyon, as they call it. Heberlein almost into some hay bales, swings wide. Does he have an inside line set up for this corner? He's going to hit it and make the pass. Smooth as butter, gets around. Daniel Mills goes back into 8th. Mills back to 9th. And Race Carlin has just gotten around Billy Kunitz to get himself into the top 10, but that's not over either, as Kunitz is going to try to cross over and go down the inside. Shows Carlin a wheel. He's going to go inside again, but Carlin's actually squaring it up to go inside as well, so he's going to hold on to the spot. Not necessarily over between those two either, as Mills continues to lurk right behind. Whoa, it actually goes down. I was just about to say he was trying to keep Heberlein in his sights, but gets a kick and goes down. Carlin trying to get away from Kunitz. Brock Pearson, and he's got a good lead over Cameron Lee, so it's kind of all spreading out now at this point. Oh, actually, Holm being caught by Leclerc, just peek up front. Yeah, our leaders aren't close. Oh, Leclerc! Just as he got back to Holm again, goes up and over the bars. It seems like that section of the downhill has bit him a couple times because he almost went down there last lap. This time he actually does go down there. Oh, he's down again. This might open up an opportunity for Leitzel to really close in. It's going to be within 5 or 6 seconds at this point, I'd have to imagine. And white flag will be out next time by for these guys. Your race leader Chapman has already checked out onto the white flag. Seabolt's close, but I don't quite think he'll get there. You'd need a little bit more time as the pace is being ran, but my goodness. First and second are 48 seconds ahead of third. Seabolt and Chapman came to play this outdoor season. Keep an eye on Leclerc. Has got a tip in chat from Peyton Kays. Apparently he's doing a really big line at the finish. I'd like to see if he's still doing it. I think he might be. Oh, he's almost doubling that thing. I'm not sure if that's the line you're speaking of, but he's trying to like kind of step up over that single. These guys have almost dug out that divot enough that I would think that if they hit it fast enough, they could maybe get all the way over the finish line takeoff. Seabolt looks like he is pushing. He wants to go after Chapman before this is over. Probably about a third of a lap, maybe a half a lap to go. It's a lap race Carlin, who I believe is 12th. I mean, the pace that they're setting at the front is incredible, way ahead of the rest of the guys at the moment. And Seabolt trying to give one last effort, 2 seconds down, and it's closing. He's going to try to front flip his way forward, and he lands it. I think he was trying to scrub, and it ended up turning into a front flip. And rider in the way is Carlin. Carlin is moving out of the way and coming to the line. This is going to be actually really close here, folks. Chapman down to the line. Here comes Seabolt as they close it in, and Chapman over the line is going to win Moto 1 in the 450 Classic Glen Helen. And cuts won't factor in as Seabolt falls short of the line. Going to get up still clear as day in second, no problem, but ends up 9 seconds down at the end. So Holm all alone in third. Leclerc still in danger of losing fourth if he were to crash again. I think he should be good though. Leitzel would be fifth. Verzaka has moved back into sixth ahead of Blakely. Heberlein is eighth. Mills is ninth. And Carlin in 10th, I should say, actually finished a lap down. So they lapped all the way up inside of the top 10. Did your 2 leaders. And here we go. Finally, Adam Holm in third is going to come down to the line. And let's see how far back he ended up. He was 49 seconds back of Seabolt. So he was almost a minute back of Chapman, your race winner. Ooh, Leclerc, big kick in the final corner, but Leitzel was still pretty far back. So Leclerc doubles up to the line, sends the finish line jump. Does he land it? Nice! Went down by hitting that rider, but he did actually land it. Leitzel with some troubles here in the final corner is still gonna, oh, actually maybe not. Loops his Larry and goes down. Will Verzaka get to him in time? Yes, he will. 5th place for Verzaka. Leitzel, a stupid little loop out, and he ends up in 6th. Blakely ends up 7th. Heberlein is all alone in 8th. And Mills is going to be the last guy to finish on the lead lap in 9th. So there you have it. Heberlein finishes up in 8th, no problem. And here is Daniel Mills, likely going to give us the cuts. Comes down, comes across the finish line jump. And nope, no cuts yet. But unofficially, it was Carlin, Pearson, Kunitz, Lee, Young, Adamo, Parks, St. Laurent, Timorino, Turley, and Mitchell rounds out the top 20. Ahead of Mills was Heberlein, Blakely, Leitzel, Verzaka, Leclerc, Holm, Seabolt, and your Moto #1 winner here at Glen Helen, Russ Chapman, as he is making his way through the crowd. The swarms of people here at Glen Helen flooding him. Chapman's going to give one last go here at the finish line. Let's see if he does something interesting. He's trying that double line by the looks of it. A little Oppo flare. Maybe trying to pick up on something Leclerc is doing. And here we have it. Cuts are in. And everything inside of the top 20 stays literally the exact same. Looks like Armstrong gained a spot on Hillman outside of the top 20. And Deering gained a spot on Holiak. But that was pretty much it. And now we're going to head into a little bit of a break here, but Yeah, 5-minute break. So since Checkers is not here still, not sure where he disappeared to, and since I'm just going to ride the track for a moment, go ahead and do a little Ask Me Anything. If you guys have a question in chat that you want to ask, I'll go ahead and dive over into chat and ask as many questions as I can in this little 5-minute span. First ride around the track just a little bit though. Alright. My day was good, thank you, Alex Clark. How was yours? Why did I not race Supercross from the Flourish? Because, well, I'm trash at this game now. No, really, I actually enjoy the streaming part of it a little bit more these days than racing. It's not the easiest thing to stay up to date with how fast you have to be in this game, so just kind of like taking the break and enjoying the streaming. Since Checkers isn't here, what is your honest opinion on a road? Honestly speaking, I thought these last 3 motos have been really good for a road. I thought the 451 maybe broke down just a little bit too much. I think they could maybe tone it down just a touch on that, but otherwise, I thought the 250 races, the road was actually really good because it forced guys to change up their lines. That's what I want the road to do, is make guys actually have to think about where they're going and what they're doing. So because it did that, I like it. I know some people don't, but I don't know. Tough luck, I guess. How do I feel about the new Hondas? I think they look great. I really want to get into dual sporting. So I was looking a little bit about that, the 450X edition, I think it's called. Looks like a fun bike to have. So I don't know if I could afford it, but definitely like it. Roxon edition bike looks cool, so very nice. What else do we got? What race is next? 450 Moto 2. Hey Kellen, I'm new to all of this and wanted to know how you earn brops on EMF. Do you pay or do you earn them? You have to pay. You can earn them by winning series, like a championship in the 450 Pro or 250 Pro class. You get brop points by winning the series. But initially up front to actually race the series, you have to pay. Will I ever race again? I don't know. I was talking about with Checkers earlier, maybe racing those little 125 Dream Race things that they have on Sunday night. Those might be fun. But I don't know about like full-blown pro races anymore. They're, like I said, it's not the easiest thing to stay at the top of the game in this game. It's really hard to match the pace of some of these guys. Let's see. Hey, Kellen, thanks for the stream. Do you ever look at where you would stay in England when you were considering that job a while back? Yeah, actually, I can't remember the name of the city, but it was about 20 minutes west of Heathrow, because I wanted to stay pretty close to Heathrow because I'd be traveling a lot. I have a buddy that lives in Swindon, which is about 45 minutes from Heathrow, so it's in between Swindon and Heathrow. I don't remember the city name again, though, like I said. But I was looking at flats there. Some of them were a little bit out of my price range, and so ultimately I came to the decision not to move to England and take that job, but that's where I was looking. What part of the track do I find the hardest? Glen Helen is always tricky, so I'd have to say like downhills on this track are tough because you have to really find your way through each kind of bump and section of the track. But I'm not good at timing huge jumps, so the finish line section I'm atrocious at. I OJ stuff all the time. I'd say that's my toughest part. What's your thoughts on the Hangtown 150 foot being removed? I'm torn on it. It was awesome spectacle to see him jump it, but it also still relieved I won't see another rider die on it. Honestly speaking, I am a pure motocross fan. I don't like big jumps on a motocross track. I think it kind of detracts from, good solid motocross racing, I'm totally fine with just leaving the terrain as is and maybe putting some ski jumps, a table or two here and there. Like a big table I think is fine. I think LaRocco's Leap is like borderline okay because it's kind of like, a little bit safe to double, but as steep as they've made the landing now, it's getting a little bit kind of chaotic. The stuff that they're doing at Glen Helen this year that they were doing, I think it's removed now. Ridiculous. That uphill triple, all that stuff. No, I don't think they should ever do that. I think it should be more about the actual terrain and the flow of the circuit. Do you think we should only do a road for outdoors since Supercross gets super one-lined? I think it's a discussion worth having because I think Supercross, it was getting really one-lined and it made for better racing before when you can kind of square guys up in bowl corners. So I think I'd be okay with no road in Supercross, but I think it's definitely something that, the guys above will, above me essentially in this whole process would figure out and determine the best route. Tyson had surgery on his hand. That's why he hasn't been riding. So that's update on Tyson Fresquez. Kellen, are you ever going to do a drunk stream with Donut? I would love to. Someone send Donut my way. I've tried contacting him. The dude deleted his Facebook. I can't figure out how to message him on YouTube. I guess I could message him on Twitter, but I feel like I lost his Twitter recently. Anyway, I've tried to reach out to him a few times, but I'd love to do something with Donut. He's awesome. Yeah. Tomorrow's EU Pro stream will also be live. I'm guessing that Moto Go is streaming it, but I honestly don't know. So tomorrow, EU Pro Series, sometime in the middle of the day for the USA. Moto Go, I think, is streaming that, so check that out. Twitch.tv/Moto Go. Are these guys playing live right now, and do they get paid, or is it only Brop points? Yes, they are playing live right now. Everybody from different facets of the world. Leclerc in France right now at 4:30 in the morning is playing this game. No doubt. He's sitting in France playing it. So it's tricky because most of them don't get paid. Some teams do pay contingency, you win a race, you get $15, or some teams even pay for licenses. So in that case, you would get paid Brop points. Most teams don't pay. That's kind of a new thing that's happened lately. Have you ever thought about making an eMag for MX Sim? I really, really did. I actually developed one back in 2013. I built my own site kind of around Sim back in 2012, but once I got a job at Verb, it was a little bit tricky, kind of spending a lot of time doing that and other things. So I did try to put an eMag together. I think Devin Davis did a better job on it, though, when he put one together, and I know a couple other guys have started working on it, so definitely would check them out. I do like lemons. Lemons are tasty. And I'm going to load back in, hopefully in time. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the start again. Oh my, there are 1,000 guys down at the top of the hill in turn 2. And at the front of the field, Moto number 2 is underway at Glen Helen, and it is Brock Pearson. Loading in so many skins is really challenging on a PC, even when you have I think I have an 8800K i7. I still can't load them in all on time. Logan Leitzel has taken the lead away, though, very quickly from Brock Pearson. 19 to Seabold is right there, 70. Oh, and Seabold goes down. That's going to be huge. Pearson right there, Richards. Everybody all mixed together here early on in lap number 1. I see you guys still asking a couple questions. I'll try to get to those as the race kind of organizes itself out, but early on, this is all over the place. We saw Seabolt up front. I see Chapman is right there battling it out with Holm. This is 6th and 7th early on, and then Przaka's right behind them. So Chapman, your Moto number 1 winner, is near the front. No sign of Leclerc yet. Not sure what happened off the start, but clearly he is not at the sharp end of the field. So it's Leitzel leading the way. Pearson, Richards, Like, Tiberino, Chapman, Holm, and Frizaka, Hillman, Mills, and Billy Kunitz, William St. Laurent, Chase Blakely, Siebold, Carlin, Massart, Lee, Turley and Armstrong, Young, Parks, Deering, Mitchell, Simos, and then Leclerc. So Leclerc outside of the top 20 as more riders go down in the background. Not the best start for Leclerc. I apologize that I missed it at the beginning. If these guys wouldn't load us out, like if they just stayed in that other race until the very end and then loaded in Moto 2 like they used to do in RF, then I would be no problem. I would just load up these guys right away. But because they load us to a 1 or 2 rider gate in the server and none of them are skins I have, it takes a long time to load in almost 40 full skins on high detail graphics. So unfortunately I missed some of these starts. It'll happen. I'll try to work on it in the future. So Leitzel put together a really strong Moto number 1. If you remember back right at the end of it, he actually looped out coming to the finish line, cost him a position. I think it was Frizaka that ended up going through and finishing inside of the top 5. So Leitzel wants to have a bit of a recuperation from that. And as I say that, he slides out. Very much looked like Jeremy Martin's crash there last year. Martin was leading on the first lap of the race. Now it's the second lap. So just as I talk about Leitzel, he coughs up the lead. And the number 77, it's the Fro man. Dominic Tiberino goes to the front. Brock Pearson right there. Russ Chapman, Moto number 1 winner on the 29, is going wide, and he's going off the racetrack in amongst the fans. Gets back on and goes down. Richards goes through. There goes Mills. Like, Hillman, and Kunitz hits him, so that causes another stack up as then Siebold jumps by, but Siebold jumps off the track as well. Oh, Race Carlin with the Superman off the side of the bike. Must have OJ'd coming into the double, and now that was Siebold getting stuck on somebody. That's Chase Blakely down. So that kind of shakes everything up. And with Tiberino leading, although making a mistake doing so, this is kind of anybody's race. Adam Holm may be the fastest guy towards the front. He was 3rd in Moto number 1. We obviously have Leitzel up here, who is 6th, and then Tiberino and Pearson, who were... Well, Pearson finished in the points, but I don't remember if Tiberino did or not. They're going to split lines, and look at Tiberino launching into the sand. So interestingly enough, as opposed to the 250 class, the inside double line, as long as you can triple after it, looks to be a little bit faster going into the sand. Not too sure why Leitzel's running the number 1 plate, as Pearson's going to swing outside. Does he out-drag Tiberino into turn 1? Woo! Close, but not quite. Tiberino holds on. So Leitzel is running Tyson Fresquez's Supercross non-red plated bike. Fresquez, the defending Supercross champion. I don't think I ever saw him run that bike all year long because he's been using some sort of alternate gear. But I'm not sure why he's doing that, because he's on Architect. I have his gear, clearly, and his helmet and everything, but then he's just running the Volcom SX number 1 Tyson Fresquez bike. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. So Tiberino's holding on out front. Pearson just giving him a little bit of a nose here and there, but not able to do it just yet. And returning to the booth now, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Riesenberg. Welcome back, Chris.
Hello, hello. I'm making sure my live timing, I think everything's caught up at this point.
Yeah, 6 minutes into 450 Moto 2, we got Dominic Tiberino leading Pearson, Leitzel, Holm, and then Chapman now into the top 5.
Yeah, quite a surprise at the front of the field, I would say.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a shift. We didn't see much of Pearson or Tiberino in that first moto, and now here they are leading.
Yeah, Pearson was going fast at Hangtown in the EU races, as well as I believe he's been doing pretty solid in the Oz X MX races as well. So, definitely has some speed here on the 450. Just, yeah, we didn't see him in Moto number 1 at the front.
Just saw
Holm makes the move around Leitzel,
Yeah,
I believe.
Leitzel made a mistake. He slid out on the inside before the sand, got caught up on that little island on the inside of the track as well, and then Holm was able to squeak on by. Before we get too deep in the moto, I just wanted to follow up. One question we had in chat was, generally speaking, how old are the players playing this game? In the 450 class, I'd say it's probably maybe a little bit of an older age group. Not terribly old, but I'm pretty sure Tiberino out front is like 18 or so. Pearson is 19 or 20. I think Holm is also 17 or 18.
Holm is 20, actually.
Oh,
I know
he's
that
20.
for sure.
Leitzel is 17?
Yeah, I would say 17, 18, something like that for sure.
Chapman's probably the youngest
12.
in the 450 class. No, Chapman's 16 now, probably 15 or 16.
He was like 12 or 13 when he burst onto the scene, but he's been around for a little while now. He's almost a veteran, even though he's young.
Leclerc is 22, I think, and I would say that the...
Speaking of Leclerc, where in the hell is he in this moto? He is buried back in 19th place right now.
Yeah, he got a terrible start. The oldest racer in this game still has got to be someone in their 30s, although I don't know who it would be. I know that, like...
Shaq's not out there anymore.
Yeah, Brian Haskell is 30, former two-time Supercross champion, but he isn't racing this evening. Who would be the oldest?
I mean, I'll flip through the field while you keep calling the racing, and I'll try to figure it out.
So Tiberino is still leading, Pearson is in second, and Holm and Leitzel are trying to make some ground, but haven't really done much yet. It's actually allowing Chapman to close in from behind. Over the line, on to lap number 5. Our little top 5 group here is starting to break away. Got about a 6-second gap or so, I would say.
So Tiberino, solid out front right now. Approaching a third of the way through the moto. Pearson giving him chase. Adam Holm, of course, finally picked up that elusive win at the end of last season. Looking to pick up where he left off here this season.
Ooh, Leitzel down.
Came off a podium in Moto number 1. Is running in third here again in Moto number 2 and chasing down Brock Pearson at the moment. Full of teammates running in the 2 and 3 spot. Really digging Brock Pearson's gear setup.
This might be something you would know, Chris, but wasn't Warrior way back in the day, Chad Estabrooks, wasn't he kind of old? Wasn't he in his like 30s or 40s when he was winning motos?
Possibly. Not really sure. I mean, I think not active racing, but Havoc is probably the oldest member of the community.
Yeah, he's in his 50s, right? Maybe. I think JLV's in his 50s now too.
Yeah, I believe Havoc's like 1 year older than JLV, or like maybe a couple months, because they've joked about it on the forums at some point. This race for the lead is tightening up into a 3-rider freight train, and Russ Chapman trying to make it a 4-rider freight train. Chapman dropped to 219 last time around. He is on the move.
Oh, Pearson threw it and almost threw it away.
We'll see what the lap time is here, as the track's only getting faster right now. It hasn't quite started slowing down just yet. Big old whipper tails coming off the downhill for the top guys.
Going board with Chapman here as he just laid down a 219.1 right behind Holm, and this group up front tightening up.
Yeah, Pearson started to put the pressure on Tiberino. Holm putting the pressure on Pearson, and yeah, Chapman, the man on the move right now as they're scrubbing down the finish line. 220.3 that time for Chapman. 221s across the board for everyone else besides Tiberino, who is 222 flat. If you're Tiberino, it's starting to stink like Grandma's fart box out there, because the guys behind you are all going faster and they're all right on your tail.
Man, it looks like this is just kind of accordioning together. Chapman closing down on Holm closing down on Pearson, all of them closing down on Tiberino out front. We got a 4-rider battle for the lead as Pearson slides out. Chapman might get a twofer going down the inside of Holm. Pearson gets him back, and Holm loses a spot after all is said and done.
I think Chapman and Holm, trying not to run into each other, forgot all about Pearson, who just ripped down the inside of both of them. He had the most room to work with. Come down the downhill. Chapman going to try the inside. Pearson around the outside. Which line is going to be faster? Holm also around the inside. Looks like the inside was the line to have.
No kidding. Pearson
Huge
trying
advantage
to fight back, but just can't do anything about it as Holm takes the spot. So now, pressure's on for Tiberino. How much longer is he going to be able to hold off the hard-charging Russ Chapman? Chapman looking for a 1-1 performance today.
Tiberino looking solid still.
Oh.
Just as I say that, he makes the mistake.
Oh. What a
Sorry, Fro.
So Chapman retakes his position at the front. Just like in Moto number 1. Has Holm right behind him, Tiberino and Pearson. No sign yet of Seabolt. Here he is in 6th. Seabolt was the lone man that could run Chapman's pace. Both of them gapping the rest of the field by 50 seconds. Seabolt all over Leitzel now. Look at the speed he carries into the finish line. Dualies! And Seabolt gonna go inside all the way, takes the spot, and off he goes. Gonna set sail after Pearson, who's right behind Tiberino still. I think Holm wants to try to keep Chapman in his sights, but judging by the pace Chapman's been able to lay down this moto and the last, just don't think Holm is quite on his speed level this evening.
People in chat are starting to wonder if a road actually broke, because it doesn't seem to be continuing to erode as much as it has been all night. It is still set to 1.0, I just checked.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not as deep.
Right, I have seen this happen previously where, for whatever reason, the road just doesn't form up the same.
I'm really sorry, Chris, but I really do feel like people are about to say it was perfect then. Just say like, oh, just leave it right here. I don't think this is perfect. I think everybody's still kind of one line in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I probably shouldn't say any more comments because I already got myself in trouble once tonight by trying to make a comment, so. Whatever.
What's a little trouble if you're not throwing whips over some doubles? Brock Pearson is all alone in 3rd, but here comes Seabolt. Oh, nose wheelie. Got it.
Ooh, battle for 5th and 6th. For Tiberino's anchor has definitely dropped. His lights will moved on by as well. The one thing I can say is even if it did break, it's the same for everyone. So.
Oh, Tiberino trying to do his best 9 o'clock knack. For Zach is going to slide through. Here comes William St. Laurent and Craig Richards amidst a battle with each other. Didn't quite... Oh, no, they did make it past Tiberino. Didn't see Tiberino back on the track just yet. Blakely and finally Leclerc. So Leclerc, although not getting the best start, has also not really made the best headway through the field. Halfway through it, and he's still not into the top 10 just yet.
We have a new leader.
Change for the lead. And it is Adam Holm, the chemistry major in the flesh, out front. Looks like Chapman probably just had some sort of tip over, not a fall off crash.
What's crazy is it must have been after the finish because he ran a 2:16.7. Last time around, a heater faster than a 40-year-old virgin with a supermodel, I believe.
Oh, Chris. Battle's not over, though. Holm's still under attack. Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I think a road, something's up with it, because it's the same as I saw it a few laps ago. Either way, here comes Chapman looking outside. Holmes trying to make the inside work, and into a tough block he goes. Puts himself ass over tea kettle and has to pick himself up as Seabolt goes through. Pearson's now by, and the Honda Nationals, presented by Coors Light, are continuing out front. So Leitzel was able to get through Holm. Pearson actually just went down, so that's another spot gained. St. Laurent, Richards, Frizaka, and Blakely all locked into a little bit of a battle here. So Frizaka looking for a way through on Richards, has an inside option available here. Does he jump to his inside? Yes, he does, and almost clips him. Now Blakely trying to get through, almost got into the back of Richards. Frizaka now going after St. Laurent ahead of him. Rider down, and it's Pearson. Pearson going really backwards now. He was in third last time we saw him. Now he's outside of the top 10. Or actually,
I feel like there's a battle going on right now between Pearson and Tiberino to see who can drop the bigger anchor.
Tiberino's down again. Here comes Cameron Lee, Jeremy Kolenauer, Andrew Massart, Billy Kunitz, and then Leclerc. So Leclerc had another fall because he went from 11th to 15th now.
All this St. Laurent, Frizaka, Richards battle is looking pretty good right now, trying to get into the top 5. Chase Blakely at the tail end of it. Just a wide open drag race at the moment around the racetrack. Quite a bit different than what we were seeing earlier in the night. Looked like state gymnastics going down the hills earlier with all the cartwheels going on, but definitely not now. It's just wide open freeway.
And I'm sure it's going to stay that way too, because unlike the road racing earlier, ooh, it was St. Laurent going down. These guys know where the lines are all throughout the track now, so they can just find the line that works the best and hit it lap after lap after lap like we used to see in this series. So just as they were getting used to adapting, it changes again, and they have to not adapt and hit the same marks again. Zaka going after Richards here. Amazing that he's getting as close as he is with Richards' Australian lag.
Nice outdoor performance from Richards. He's not known as an outdoor guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's turning it around, and I also am impressed with Frizaka, who did not seem to really put any good success together in Supercross. He didn't race much, but the races he did show up to, it wasn't like he was doing what he's doing now, which is consistently inside of the top 10, top 5 in Moto number 1 for him.
I feel like everywhere I look, 250 or 450, the relaxed tire guys are all running up towards the front of the field, so maybe just a lot of pounding out laps together as a group, raising everybody's pace. I mean, we've seen that in the past with the Volcom guys.
Pounding out something, that's for sure. Tell you what they are doing, Chris. They're pounding out some results, because Frizaka's going down the inside of Richards, not able to triple into the sand, and that's going to cost him a bit of time as Chase Blakely closes in behind.
Blakely trying to find a way around. Looks like he's got a shot up the inside here and a nice drive. Not quite going to be able to get up alongside to make the move. Try to set something up going up this twisty turny first hill.
And for Zaka and Richards are still just nose to tail here. The unbreakable battle, which is still weird to me because we saw earlier on in this evening Richards plowing through people. A little bit of Australian lag, and for Zaka, excuse me, has been right behind him for quite a while and still no issues. Ooh, for Zaka getting aggressive, gets into Richards and down he goes. Blakely goes through. And that is going to be all for Zaka, only loses a spot. Meanwhile, it is Chapman and Seabolt 1-2 again. Where have we heard that?
Oh man, yeah, those two just constantly. I'm going to try to get an update on Leclerc, see where he has made his way up to. He is up to 14th. Not the performance I was expecting out of the number 7, for sure. Especially after seeing him at the EU race last weekend, where he absolutely dominated Hangtown for the European Series. And he had Rush Chapman and more in the field and left them by 30 plus seconds. This is probably more what they're used to, I guess. Laying down burners for Chapman and Seabolt, where the track stays pretty much the same and stays fast. It's kind of where they excel.
Yeah, but even in the first moto, when the track maybe got the gnarliest it's been all night long, these two gapped the field. So they just, both of them appear like they're on a different level. Leclerc led most of the first moto and coughed it up, and these guys just left him. Leclerc ended up 4th. These guys are both 50 seconds ahead of Holm in 3rd. I mean, it's not looking good for the rest of the field. That's for sure.
Blakely's still trying to work on Richards, and Holm's still trying to reel in Logan Leitzel for that final podium spot.
It's like Blakely is actually eyeing up Richards here for a pass. He's kind of been stalking him for a lap or two, but he's right on him now.
Just a little slide-out mistake from Richards allows Blakely to really close the gap, to be within striking distance now. He's got to find a spot to make a move. He's going to try to slingshot around the outside. Gets a little sketchy.
He's still going to get it, though. Oh, pushes Richards down.
Gutsy to do with Richards with his Aussie leg. But
yeah.
Makes it happen. Blakely not scared to be aggressive and pushes Richards out of the way to go into the number 5 ride.
Richards fortunately doesn't fall off the bike, so he maintains 6th. Pearson now coming up in 7th, and St. Laurent for Zaka. And Kunitz round out the top 10. This is a really good day for Kunitz. Just outside of the top 10 in the first moto, in the top 10 this moto thus far. Just steadily putting down strong ride here. Looking back to Leclerc, battling with Tiberino. So are we still having a battle of the anchor? Well, Pearson's kind of steadied. Leclerc just getting around Tiberino, who at one point led this race but is now 14th. It's interesting that Leclerc isn't excelling a little bit more, because it seemed in the first moto he was really strong at this point of the race, kind of got into the lead and held it for a while. And as the track deteriorated more, he was getting more and more bad kicks. He crashed a lot on the downhill on Mount St. Helens. So strangely enough, he just doesn't seem to have the same flow he had in the first moto with this kind of a road.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe he changed setup between motos to adapt to try to solve the problem, and then obviously completely missed the setup if it was set up for a rough track and it's not rough, potentially. That would be a strong possibility. The other thing is just being in the pack. You know, Leclerc has not made a lot of friends this year. On his way through the pack in Supercross, we saw a lot of guys hitting the deck. And so I'm sure they're not giving him any extra room as he's back in the pack here. It makes it a lot more difficult to go through the pack if somebody's not going to give you an inch.
It's very true.
All speculation, but those things could be coming into play. I will say I am not counting him out of this championship by any means. One bad race early in the year, he can definitely make up from that.
No
Leclerc
question.
Is always a threat to win, for sure.
I mean, the guy legitimately missed a main in Supercross and is still your Supercross champion, so no question, we can't fathom him not being a title contender at this point, even if he does end up outside of the top 10 in this moto, which it doesn't seem like will happen.
He's continuing to work his way forward as he's now putting pressure on Kevin Frizaka for that number 10 spot, and right in front of him is Billy Kunitz as well. So Leclerc still getting some valuable championship points, salvaging a performance here with a couple minutes and a couple laps to go. Which I believe, depending on where our leader is, we might get the 2-lap board this time around already. We're at 29 minutes.
Leclerc slides out. Here comes Cameron Lee. Lee not going to triple into the sand, so he won't get by Leclerc. But Leclerc did lose some time to Frizaka. Billy Kunitz is ahead of Frizaka, then Richards, St. Laurent, Pearson, Blakely, Holm, Leitzel, Seabolt, and Chapman. So Seabolt, last moto, it seemed like once he got into second, he just started clawing away seconds up to Chapman. That's definitely not the case this time. Chapman looks like he's actually getting away lap after lap.
I think pretty spread out right now. I didn't see if Chapman was at 30 minutes or not when he crossed the line. It was really close.
Yeah, I think it... obviously, we won't know. We just have the green marker on our screen showing us. You're right, it was very close.
Searching for a battle here.
Not much, huh? This 450 class is definitely...
Leclerc is putting pressure on Kevin Frizaka for the 9 spot at the moment.
450 class is definitely a little bit more spread out. Ooh, Leclerc had a good line trying to kind of cross over on Frizaka, but just kind of ran out of space. And oh, wow, what a save. Landed sideways from a whip on the knuckle of the jump, landed all the way down on the transition after hopping, and then still is able to crowd together.
Leclerc just love taps right out of the way. Says bye-bye, Kevin Frizaka. And that's the stuff that we're talking about where coming through the pack gets a little more difficult when guys aren't going to give you an inch. And you just make it worse when you continue to do that. But that's, you know, when you're racing Leclerc, that's what you have to know is he's going to be aggressive. And you have to know who you're racing. You can't leave the guy an inch or he will try to take it because he is going to the front. Whether he has to go through you or not, Alexis Leclerc has a job to do and he's trying to do it.
Yeah. I mean, Leclerc, He definitely does have friends out there. It's not just all enemies, but as being as polarizing as a figure in this genre of video games as he is, it's kind of one way or the other. People either love him or hate him, I guess.
That's kind of crazy. As the years go on, I'm finding myself falling more on the love him train.
Well, honestly speaking, I mean, he and I have had some tough times in the past, but as he goes down.
He's down. There goes Cameron Lee, who's been kind of just shadowing him. Yeah. James Armstrong, I think, going to go by as well, and Frizaka might just get back by, and Frizaka probably not happy with it. Actually misses the turn right off his front tire.
Oh, Mills almost gets into the side of him. I was just finishing my point on Leclerc. I'm happy he's back. I mean, he was a great asset to the series before because he provided so much raw speed that even if he didn't win, it still always made things interesting. So I'm really glad he's back. It's nice to see.
He's putting some pressure on Frizaka, so let's see what goes here. That was Armstrong down, so they're both going to gain a position.
Just like before, a lap before, honestly. They're in the same position going through there. Oh, Leclerc.
Aggressive. Oh, puts himself down and Frizaka down. Now, if Frizaka wasn't mad before, he definitely is now.
No question. I think our leaders might be about getting to these guys as well. They're definitely pretty close. As Leclerc slides down and Tiberino T-bones him.
Reed Young gonna go through.
Race Carlin and Billy Kunitz had the slowest crashes I've ever seen in this game just now. That was so funny.
Massart and D Mills go through now.
There's Devin Davis.
Things have gotten pretty bad for him now.
He might not finish in the points.
He's sitting in 18th, 17th right now.
It's going back and forth.
It's such a big group.
Chaos all around him. Don't want to miss the leader coming across the line though, because it's been a day and a half already for Chapman. He has made it look a little bit too easy out there, that's for sure. A huge victory in Moto 1, just able to hold off his teammate Seabold. He comes through the field in this one, gets to the front, dominates again, and an overall dominating performance for Russ Chapman as he wins the Glen Helen National. He goes 1-1 on the day. His teammate Seabold's going to go 2-2, and they will be atop the point sheet heading into round number 3 technically at Thunder Valley, but number 2 overall. Adam Holm is going to get 3rd overall, going 4-3. Leclerc is nowhere to be found in this front group, so clearly he's not going to be a factor. Looking back at Leclerc now, he's behind Tiberino in 19th.
Devin Davis down at the bottom of the downhill, so that's going to give him a spot, but then Leclerc goes down.
Here comes Ash Deering, Spencer Turley, somebody who just flew down the hill.
That was Billy Kunis, just absolutely destroyed Ash Deering, and Leclerc is out of the points at the moment.
Yeah, Turley's on 20, right? Yeah, so. Boy, oh boy, Leclerc might go 4 and then no points, which is unreal for him. Kind of some chaos ensuing in the second moto. Some his fault, some others.
Yeah, move up, trying to get on Spencer Turley. I mean, this is, I think, super important for the championship. Former title contender, Supercross champ, trying to just score points. Worth watching as he's working on Turley here. He's looking inside aggressively.
Wow, and puts Turley on the deck, but makes the pass stick.
Good for 1 championship point at the moment. And 1 new enemy, and probably a YouTube video as well.
Maybe. Another rider down, actually. That's Tiberino getting up. Leclerc.
Wow. After leading all these laps, Tiberino might be at risk of not scoring any points. You know Leclerc's going to try to drive it in and get that 1 more spot, because he's going to go around.
He's going to get a few more spots. Davis and Kunitz were both down. He's going to try to get Tiberino, and Tiberino's going to push him off the track. Into the crowd. Leclerc's getting on the track side by side with Tiberino. He sends it, and they both come over the line together. And
got him.
Yeah, wow. 0.03. Leclerc gets Tiberino over the line. Deering
Luke
gets
Heberlein
20th.
crashed right before the finish to lose 20th and not score a point.
Wow, Kunitz just misses out. Like also just misses out. So tons of guys are right on the bubble of scoring points or not. Some will miss out. Devin Davis crashed in the final corner and is not going to finish it. It's going to maybe finish now, but...
Oh, wow. Devin throwing out some heat in chat.
Wow. Damn. Devin Davis is not happy, and over the finish he comes. Leclerc lost it on cuts to Tiberino, so he gets 18th officially, and nobody else changed position inside of the top 20. So Chapman, Seabolt, Holm, 1, 2, 3 in points. Actually, Lights will be 4th in points, going 5-4 on the day, or 6-4, I should say. So very, very interesting start to the year here at Glen Helen in the 450 class. Wouldn't have predicted that second moto to turn out the way it did towards the end, but nonetheless, dominating day for Chapman. Great racing overall, and any final thoughts, Chris?
No, I'm solid right now, man. I appreciate everyone that came by, everyone that raced, and yeah, bros, it's been good. It's been real. I'm glad we got this first round out of the way, round 2, and on to Thunder Valley.
Heck yeah, Thunder Valley will be next week, same time, same place, on Wednesday evenings here on SYS TV. Want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors, of course, helping out. Huge shout out to versuspc.com, helping out with this broadcast, and update my PC and helping to update yours. They'll be able to help you guys out, no problem. Race Tech, of course, title sponsor of the series for the national championship. Chris, I know you have some things you would like to say about Race Tech, I'm sure.
Fucking badass suspension and engines. www.racetech.com if you don't want to freaking suck and get your bike running good. Go there.
Heck yeah, get yourself dialed. Paul Feed, the man, the myth, the legend, will get you hooked up, as with the rest of the Race Tech crew helping you out as well. And who else we got on board? We got FamMX Designs, MXSCMF, of course, putting on a great series.
MXS Game Servers, I believe, also on board as well, and TMFactoryRacing.com. They're not an official sponsor of the series, but they damn well should be. Those guys rock. Hello.
Heck yeah. So it's been another great Glen Helen National here, and thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week at Thunder Valley, but so long for now.